Hello all, hi, it's Dave from the Soar Pig, and today we're going to do a classic fish pie. Well, I say it's classic to me, it's something that the family absolutely love. And so what we're going to do is first and foremost is get the mere poi started, which the mere poi is simply a mixture of, as you can see, celery, carrot and onions in equal proportion. So we need to get some butter in our pan and get that softening. We're going to get some potatoes. What I've got here is about 1.5 kilos of Morris Pipers. They've just had cold water put on them. I don't like to just put them in boiling water. I think it's best to actually boil them from cold. So all I'm going to add to that now is a good pinch of salt and getting it on the stove behind me. And that needs to boil for around about 20 minutes. Our butter's now softening for the mere poi. The Italians call that a soffritto. And I'm probably saying it wrong in both languages, by the way. Get yourself a pan. Get your fish in the bottom of the pan. And then you need to cover that with whole milk. We've got some whole milk there. And so the fish is completely covered. And this wants to go on a gentle heat. So I've got some black peppercorn there, which I'm going to tip in just to infuse some flavour. Some bay leaves. I like to add a bit of ground nutmeg as well to my poaching liquor. I think it gives a nice warmth. And this is Coleman's mustard powder. Again, just for a bit of warmth and colour. So now we've done that, we're just going to put that on a low heat. And that's just going to slightly poach away. As soon as it starts to come up to temperature and boil, we're going to take it off the heat. And basically the fish will then virtually be cooked. It does cook a little bit in the pie, but generally we want that poaching liquor to do most of the cooking of the fish. The butter's now melted in the pan. It does look like a lot of butter, but you're making a sauce out of this as well. So we're going to add flour and bring that down. So I'm going to add the mere poi. And all this is, as I say, is simply chopped carrot, onion and celery in equal proportions. The Italians use it in a lot of their dish. All the spaghetti bolognese, that's how that would start. So that needs to cook nice and slowly as well. It's going to take about 15-20 minutes. What we can do is grate some garlic that we're going to put in, and the only other thing we're going to add into that is leek. And then what we're going to do is put the poaching liquor with flour and bring that up into a sauce, and then add our fish back into it. Hopefully then the potatoes will be done and we can put a pie on, a topping on top of the pie. And then we've got to put the the fish pie in the oven. So looking forward to it. So we're going to put some leek in that in a minute. I've chopped a leek, very basic there, and we just need to grate some garlic ready to go in. Just using a microplane there just to make sure the garlic's nice and fine. You don't want big lumps of garlic in this. You just want the flavour of the garlic. I'm just going to let this cook down a little bit longer before I add it, just to soften. Starting to soften now. Just getting the just moving the pan just to get the mustard to mix into the milk with the fish. I'm going to add the garlic now and basically just stir that in, and then need to let that cook down for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to add the leek. Okay, so we're now at a point where the mere poi is nicely, you can see it slightly discolours, it's softened right down. And we're now ready to add the leeks. All this is just a chopped leek. Makes a big difference in flavour though. If you have a fish pie without leek, it's got a big thing missing. If we look now at the poaching liquor, it's getting a skin on the top. It's just simmering now, so that's virtually ready to come off. So I've got here a sieve. Actually, I'm going to use that sieve because it will make less mess. And we can then tip. We want to make sure we don't want to waste a drop of this, it's delicious. Just going to strain my potatoes. As you can see, they're not going to take much mashing. So, and then on to the making the sauce up. That's looking grand. What I'm going to add to the sauce now is the flour. So this is a good heaped tablespoon of flour, and we need to just stir that in with all the vegetables. And the flour needs to be mixed well in, and then it needs to at least cook for 2 or 3 minutes before we start adding the liquor, which is obviously the poaching milk, so the flour cooks out. Otherwise you'll have a raw flour taste in your fish pie. But that's why you needed to put that much butter in at the beginning, because you're going to then mix it with the flour. And in effect, you're actually making a bechamel really with the butter, flour and milk. So there's the prawns. The reason why you don't actually poach the prawns is because they take very little cooking, and they're going to cook actually in the sauce. So what you need to do is get your fish out the sieve, just break it up into little bits, and just check for, as you're breaking it up, if there's any fish bones, because nobody wants a fish bone ever. I'm just going to take the skin off the haddock. That's our poaching liquor. I don't like to add it all at the same time. I like to sort of stir it in. You can get lumpy if you do add it all at the same time. You can see it soon cooks down. Sometimes you need to add a little bit of cold milk as well near the end if you're running out of liquor. As you can see, that's thickening up nicely. I can't talk this morning. I've not even had a beer yet. The rest of that can go in now. It wants to be a sauce. It doesn't want to be too thick. It also wants to thicken up nicely in the pie. You know, you don't want it too runny, but you also don't want it to go solid. Do keep stirring it though, else it can go lumpy, and you don't want that. I mean, it's going to have lumps in it because it's got your carrot and everything in it, but you don't want it to go to have big clumps of flour anywhere. So you fill it up with your potato and give it a pull through. And I think that sometimes you can go into restaurants these days and they've added so much butter and added milk or cream to the potato. Even though I went into one the other day, there was a load of cheese in there as well. And it is nice, but you don't forget you've got a lot of butter in your sauce here. So adding more butter into your potatoes can make it feel very, very rich. And I actually want the richness to be in the base, in the sauce, not necessarily in the potato. And so we've got our components to start putting the pie together. I'm just going to let the sauce cool down a little bit further, and then we can start making the pie up and get it in the oven. Okay, so now we're going to build our pie. So the first thing, we've got our potato, it's mashed. We've got our fish and our raw prawns, and then we've got our sauce here. And the sauce now has gone cold. And so you can see it's actually formed a skin and it's gone nice and thick. But the fish will have some water wetness from it, from the prawns. So that's going to help us get that in. So we're now going to stir the fish into the sauce. Okay, so now we're just going to put our sauce in the bottom of our pan. And then you get your potato, and we're just going to, we want to try and keep it nice and fluffy. I don't want to lose that. I don't want it to become really thick, hard mash. So basically, you just get a nice potato on it like that. And then what we need to do is, that's going to go in the oven in a minute. And what I like to then do is put a leek and butter drizzle on the top. But you want the leeks to be really thin, so it goes like little shreds like that. Some people put cheese on a fish pie. No, Cheese should be nowhere near fish. It's wrong. And all I'm going to do is warm some butter up and just turn that over in the butter. So we want the leeks to be coated in butter so they don't burn. And what I've got, oh, that's fact, I'm going to use my baby frying pan. Look, there's the daddy and there's the baby. And so we're going to put that on the heat now. And we're going to get some, just on low heat, we're going to get some butter in that pan. So we want to coat this leek in butter. Okay, so the fish pie's had 10 minutes in the oven. So we're going to whip it out now and get the leeks and butter on the top and then back in the oven. There we go. The potatoes already starting to crisp. Get some of the lovely leek and butter mixture and just pop it over the top. Like so. We're just going to have a keep checking on that. And we don't want that leek to burn. It will go, it doesn't matter if it goes dark brown, but if it actually burns, then what it's going to do is give a bitter flavour to the top of the pie. We don't want that, so we're just going to keep our eyes on it. Okay, so the pie should be done now, so let's get it out of the oven. Let's have a look at it. Oh, look at that, it's bubbling away. Beautiful. As you can see, the potatoes nice and crisped on the edges, but it'll still be nice and light. And the fish and the sauce just bubbling up, so we definitely know that fish is beautifully cooked. The prawns will be cooked, and so we just need to let it cool for a bit. And then we're going straight in and tasting that bad boy. Okay, that's, you can see it's really light. Be hot. Just perfect. Good stuff. Well, we'll see you next time in the sty. Cheers.